industry average profitability in the restaurant business is about 4%. We became the first luxury hotel in the country to be 100% OceanWise recommended.
Welcome to BetterTable Shortcast, a place where hospitality leaders can listen, learn, and profit faster. I'm your host, Ben Liege, and we uncover topics around food, sustainability, and diversity with some of the brightest minds in the tourism and hotel industry. Thank you for joining me for what I believe will be some of the most enriching minutes of your day. Today, we are meeting with an amazing culinary leader, Chef Ned Bell, a well-known Canadian chef who has become renowned for his commitment to sustainable seafood. Get ready to discover ways to grow revenues with sustainability, learn what seafood he recommends, and get some of his food waste hacks. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Bon appétit!
I am a chef who's been cooking for over 3 decades. Since the age of 14, I started working in the restaurant business. I very quickly fell in love with food. Yes, it's the ultimate connector of human beings.
Yeah, it's so linked to like culture and connections. What's your favorite food actually?
That would be dark chocolate or really black licorice. That would be the things that I enjoy, but that's more of a treat.
In 2011, you played a significant role in launching a new sustainable seafood concept while working at Four Seasons in Vancouver. What does sustainable seafood mean to you? And would you say the hotel industry is ahead in terms of food sustainability?
We became the first luxury hotel in the country of Canada to be 100% OceanWise recommended. So from coast to coast to coast, luxury hotels, maybe hotels in general, I would say have an extraordinary opportunity to swing for the fences when it comes to their sustainability goals, but equally, challenged by just the sheer size and consumption that happens within a hotel. And truthfully, often, food waste issues.
I think a few years ago, you and your wife purchased and renovated the historic Namarata Inn in the Okanagan. Your focus there is like to provide like hyper local cuisine experiences for your guests. What did you find as the best ways to communicate about this with your guests?
Yeah, well, my wife and business partner has been deeply involved in tourism and destination marketing and brand building for her entire career. Naramata as a project for us was extraordinary because we met in the Okanagan, we married in Naramata, and we have a deep sort of passion for this place. We fell in love here, and our middle son was born here, and here we are actually moving back to Vancouver now. But this project for the last 3 years has been, of course, influenced heavily or impacted heavily by COVID. When we came to Naramata, we recognized that we really wanted to celebrate what this place was and what made it special. In cuisine, I called it, hyper local, hyper seasonal. We didn't have lemons or limes. We didn't have olives or olive oil because they're not from here. They don't grow here. They're not grown by the farmers here. And so we really wanted to have a unique taste of this place. And we said, you could only have our experience here. You could only eat this dinner here because it was hyper local and hyper seasonal. The menu would change multiple times a week.
That's really a way to like get ahead of the competition and also get something that is very unique and that your guests are putting a lot of value on it. So that's amazing. In terms of like the impact on the industry as well, the industry has been hit hard after the pandemic and now with the food inflation. How much did you have to increase your menu prices over the last 12 months? And what has worked on what has not worked to control food costs?
We tried everything. When we first opened in 2020, in June of 2020, we just took the inn over in March or February of that year. And so March hit and changed everything for all of our peers. Takeout, we had, we tried making everything under the sun and freezing it and trying to be a place where people could come and buy their groceries. The menu was so all over the place for the first year. But I think what we were clear on was our hyper local, hyper seasonal, what we called French narration. So French is the sort of foundation of my cooking, technically, and then Naramata flavors. So French Naramation is what we called it. That gave us a uniqueness on the menu that we could charge a little bit more already. Our food cost was, impacted, of course, and our food cost was already, on the higher end, but we were also charging, more for dinner than most places. Industry average profitability in the restaurant business is about 4%. I wish it was 10 to 15% profitability, because that would make it a little less precarious for our peers. But, food cost, you got to keep your eye on it. You got to worry about portioning and wastage.
I think what we are seeing is also some more and more interest in terms of food efficiency. And a few months ago, I met with your account manager, Krista, at the summit from the Thompson Okanagan Tourism Association, where she attended my workshop about trash buffet, and she tasted my banana bread with banana peels and loved it and reached out to me and mentioned that you were also very creative in the kitchen to better control food costs. So my question would be, like, what's your favorite food waste hack, and do you have any zero waste recipe you could share with us?
You're buying whole animals, you're buying whole fish, you're buying, the fisher's entire catch. So you're inherently getting bycatch. You're trying to utilize the entire animal from a, primary and secondary cuts point of view. Certainly all your vegetables and all your peelings you're utilizing through different processes of drying and dehydrating and fermenting and things. Food waste represents such a significant challenge for the culinary community, certainly in higher end hotels, where you end up putting out an abundance of food to the guests that sort of expect it or require it, but then so much of it comes back and goes straight into the bin. What would be my food hack would just be making sure that everybody in the kitchen is on the same page, making sure that everybody in the kitchen is paying attention to what they're processing. Using sharp and the appropriate tools is very, very important. You'd be surprised at how many people use the wrong tools and then end up wasting 10 to 20% of any of the ingredients because their knives aren't sharp, or the equipment that they're using, the RoboCoops or the blenders or what have you, aren't serviced properly or haven't been cleaned properly. That all kind of gets in the way of efficiency. Honestly, I cook for leftovers, so I absolutely love leftovers, and I think trying your very best to eat what's in the fridge, whether it's at home or in the restaurant. Like, you can imagine in a professional kitchen, you have so many fridges and you have so many cooks. Think about you and your own home kitchen: one fridge, one cook, or maybe two cooks. Well, multiply that by 10, right? And imagine how many things could get stuck in the back corner and not get used properly or rotated properly. Or it's about sort of knowing your fridge and staying on top of it. I cook for leftovers. That would be my tip.
You are definitely a leader in that space, but in your view, how can we inspire more leaders in the hospitality industry to incorporate sustainable practices into their business models?
If you do it well, you can build your business. You can increase your revenue. When at the Four Seasons, we took over a restaurant that was doing about $6 million in revenue annually. Not the banquets and all of the rest, room service, just the restaurant. And it was sort of on the decline. And it had a concept, but the concept wasn't sticking. It wasn't resonating with the local guests. And so we decided to become, through some study and research, to become a seafood restaurant. And then they hired me. And my whole commitment was sustainability. I was a part of the Oceanwise team that started in 2005. Prior to that, we were part of the Seafood Watch team that started in 1999 down at the Monterey Bay Aquarium. So we were deeply committed to the health of our lakes, oceans, and rivers. And so if we were going to do a seafood restaurant, we were going to dive deep into that concept of sustainable seafood, like fully 100%. I had to convince my team that this was the right thing to do. And there was a lot of pushback. There was a lot of, gentle battling. What we saw was, because the food was good, in the second year we did 7 million. In the third year we did 8 million. In the fifth year we did 10 million. And we were on our way to $11 million in revenue. So by committing to sustainability, our business grew. don't forget this was in Vancouver. Vancouverites are very committed to the environment and have been since Greenpeace launched in the 70s in Vancouver. We need more chefs to be brave and to swing for the fences when it comes to doing the right thing around food waste, around sustainability practices, around supporting local farmers, around supporting the communities that rely on those farmers, because those farmers are putting food on our plates. It's our job to put it on your plates. And that really is that sustainability circle that's so important to me as a chef.
In terms of inspiration and learning, like what's your favorite book or podcast or resources that you check to keep up to date with industry trends?
That's so funny that you asked that. So today we were packing up our house here in Naramata, and I have like 6 gigantic bins of cookbooks, and those are just the ones here. And my wife was like, maybe you should purge, some of the books. And I was like, no, I can't give away any of my books. I mean, I haven't opened any of those books in like 10 years because nowadays we have the internet. I would say what inspires me most right now is the country of Japan is definitely something that is inspiring me, both from a sustainability point of view, from a cultural point of view, and from a just cuisine point of view that is really second to none, to be quite honest. And growing up in Vancouver, the Japanese culture was here, and so although we thought of Japanese food as sushi, of course we know now that it's so much more than that. And I've been to Japan and been to the largest fish market in the world, and it was unbelievable. And yeah, I think I'm inspired by different things all the time. It's never one thing. It's kind of 15 or 20 things at the same time. There's a chef in Japan called Narisawa. So many inspiring chefs these days.
What would be the one key message you would like our listeners to remember?
Human beings are creatures of habit, which is, I'm a creature of habit. I mean, we all are. To diversify our diets, we need to make the effort. And by diversifying our diets, and diversity could be all kinds of different things. I mean, for instance, when it comes to seafood, we eat the four of the same things. In North America, we eat something white, white fish. We eat something pink, salmon. We eat something red, tuna, and by far the most consumed seafood in North America is shrimp. And if you want to assist the oceans when it comes to a sustainability commitment or more of a sustainability commitment, I would love you to try and eat outside of those 4 things, because there's dozens of different things you could eat in the ocean that are delicious. I mean, there's 10,000 edible plants in the ocean. So, the opportunities are endless. I think that if we want to assist the future of food, and I love foods from other countries, but I really want us to pay a fair price to our fisher or our farmer for their entire catch or harvest, whether that's on land or in the ocean. And that is by supporting your local community farms and community farmer, community fisher, making sure that you're eating what is of your place. Our food system needs our help. And if you can localize it just a little bit more, doesn't mean stop eating avocados or lemons, but maybe localize it 10 to 15% more. I think you'll be doing yourself and our communities a favor into the future.
And finally, where can our listeners learn more about you?
Hatchhospitality.com or nedbellculinary.com.
Chef Ned Bell is doing an incredible job. I'm so excited for you to learn from other leaders, and I hope to see you next time. BetterTable Shortcast is brought to you by BetterTable.ca. We help Green Key certified hotels and restaurants control food costs and increase food and beverage profits. Thank you so much for listening. Do you want more industry best practices to control food costs? Check out our free online course for culinary leaders. Simply visit bettertable.ca/academy to get instant access. That's bettertable.ca, bettertable.ca/academy to get instant access. If you love the show, please leave us a review. We are so proud to bring you curated insights to help the tourism and hospitality industry thrive. The best compliment you can give us is by screenshotting today's show and tagging us on LinkedIn at bettertable.ca and at Ben Liege. We are obsessed with swags, so don't be surprised if we want to send you some. And remember, nothing bad happens when hospitality leaders make more money.